The alert has gone in Buffalo. A surprising behind-the-scenes move could change the entire plan for 2025. Bills Mafia, pay close attention. When everyone thought the Bills roster was practically set for next season, new behind-the-scenes conversations are starting to gain momentum, and they could directly affect two of the biggest discussions dividing fans today: passing attack and James Cook's contract. And to complete the scenario, a prediction has now emerged that could further inflame expectations in Buffalo. NFL analysts point to the Bills' offense as the best in the entire league for 2025. Despite the recent controversies, throughout the offseason, we've heard a narrative repeating itself insistently. Josh Allen needs an elite WR1 to finally lead the Buffalo Bills to the long-awaited Super Bowl. But the truth, as the 2024 numbers show, is that this theory is far from a definitive sentence. Without a solid superstar in the receiving corps, Buffalo still managed an impressive average of 30.9 points per game and knocked on the door of the Super Bowl, winning. Even so, some fans and the press still dream of more offensive power. The signings of Josh Palmer, Elijah Moore, and Laviska Shenault Jr. brought solid reinforcements to the group, but some analysts believe that it would still be possible to give Allen one more piece, and this is where an unexpected name has started to circulate again: Gabe Davis, recently cut by the Jacksonville Jaguars after just 1 year of his contract, interrupted by an injury in Week 11. Davis saw his time in Jacksonville quite discreet, just 239 yards, 2 touchdowns on 20 receptions in 10 games. But what makes this reunion with the Bills worth considering? Simple. The chemistry with Josh Allen in his 4 seasons in Buffalo. Davis never finished a year with fewer than 500 yards and 6 touchdowns. In the playoffs, he even became something of an unlikely hero with memorable performances. Of course, he wouldn't arrive with WR1 status, but he could be a valuable piece in the rotation, especially in red zone plays and pressure situations. Another point that favors the idea: the financial aspect. With the salary cap tight, Davis would accept if he were willing to return a veteran's minimum contract. This would make the transaction viable even with the team's budget limitations. Problem? No one knows for sure if Davis himself would accept this scenario. But if the board decides to look for more depth at the position, this could be the most logical and lowest risk bet in the current market. For now, board hasn't taken any concrete steps. But as we know, in the NFL, the unexpected can happen. Overnight, and the window for a new meeting between Gabe Davis and the Bills is indeed open behind the scenes, and speaking precisely of movements that have not yet been defined. We now arrive at the most sensitive point of this offseason: the soap opera involving James Cook and his new contract. If there is one topic that divides, intrigues, and worries Bills fans this offseason, it is James Cook, the running back who was simply essential during the 2024 campaign. Even securing a well-deserved spot in the Pro Bowl, now finds himself at the center of a delicate negotiation that could directly impact the franchise's plans for next season. What draws even more attention to this entire situation is Cook's behavior over the past few weeks. In a move that took many by surprise, the player participated fully in the Bills' mandatory minicamp. Normally, in contract negotiation situations, players choose to miss these practices, using the absence as a way to put pressure on the teams. But in Cook's case, the decision was strategic and highly pragmatic. As he himself explained publicly, missing these practices would mean heavy financial fines. And as the player himself summed it up, "I love my money."
How that minicamp is
over, all eyes are naturally on the next big checkpoint in this saga: training camp, which will take place in a few weeks. Cook has already confirmed his attendance, but he left an important question hanging in the air. Will he be there just to go through the motions, or will he actively participate in training? There's a possibility that Cook will adopt the so-called strategic retention, in which the athlete shows up at the facilities but avoids contact activities until negotiations move forward. General Manager Brandon Beane has also spoken publicly about the subject. Beane said he expects Cook to be present at training camp, regardless of the progress of negotiations. However, the executive was cautious and did not provide any concrete updates on the current status of contract negotiations, and herein lies the great impasse. The central issue is not the desire to keep James Cook in Buffalo. That seems to be the consensus within the franchise. The problem lies in the financial aspect. Currently, according to data from Over the Cap, the Bills only have around $100,000 in available space under the salary cap. To meet Cook's request, which is around $15 million per year, the board would have to undertake aggressive maneuvers to restructure contracts, cut players, or renegotiate them. And of course, this is not a simple scenario, nor is it free of risks. From the player's perspective, the stance is understandable. Cook believes rightly that his performance in 2024 has placed him among the league's elite running backs. He is confident in his own market value value and is in no rush to accept any offer that does not reflect this recognition. After all, this is the best time in his career to seek long-term financial security. And by participating in training, Cook avoids fines and, at the same time, keeps the public debate about his importance within the roster going. Now, the clock is starting to be a determining factor. The Bills board will have about 45 days to reach a definitive agreement, or otherwise will enter the season with James Cook still under his rookie contract, something that could certainly generate frustration and discomfort in the locker room. It's a situation that requires political and financial skill on the part of Buffalo's front office. But while the negotiations are still on hold, a surprising fact emerges as a backdrop to all this tension, even with the uncertainty surrounding James Cook and the constant discussions about the wide receiver group. The Bills have just been named the best offense in the NFL for the 2025 season. And this recognition brings an unexpected new chapter to this story that, by all indications, is far from over. Amid all the discussions involving contract negotiations, doubts about the receivers' cores, and salary cap limitations, a surprising analysis has been heating up expectations in Buffalo even more. The Bills' offense was voted the NFL's #1 for the 2025 season. Yes, even with all the questions, the offense led by Josh Allen enters. This new year is the most feared in the league, according to NFL.com. This assessment was made by analyst Gennaro Felice, who highlighted the continuity and solidity of Buffalo's offense as the main reason for this bold projection. In his analysis, Felice argues that maintaining the offensive base was essential. Of the 16 players with the most snaps last season, 15 returned for 2025. The only relevant departure was that of Mac Hollins, considered by him to be a non-critical loss. And really, when we look at the Bills' performance in 2024, the numbers are impressive. The team finished 10th in total yards and was the second team that scored the most points in the NFL, even without an absolutely elite wide receiver. In other words, the offensive production was already very high, even with the limitations pointed out by some specialized critics. Felice also made a point of highlighting the expected growth of some young players who could be decisive for the Bills' offense to reach an even higher level in 2025. Among them is wide receiver Keon Coleman, who enters his second year with great expectations of improvement. His combination of physical size, separation ability, and ball control could make him an even more dangerous weapon for Josh Allen. Another name mentioned was tight end Dalton Kincaid, who enters his third season showing potential to be one of the quarterback's main safety targets, especially in short plays in the red zone. In addition, Khalil Shakir, recently awarded a contract extension, emerges as another important pillar of this group of receivers. His chemistry with Allen and his ability to find space in opposing defenses make him an essential part of the offensive scheme. But of course, the central factor in this whole scheme continues to be Josh Allen himself. NFL MVP Allen has been described by Felice as a true one-man army. At 6 feet 5 inches and 240 pounds, the quarterback combines physical strength, game vision, and mobility in a way that is almost unique in the league. His ability to improvise plays, extend drives, and turn adverse situations into big gains makes him one of the most difficult players to contain in the current NFL scenario. It is clear, however, that even with Allen's brilliance, the collective success will depend on how these supporting pieces develop throughout the season. The additions of Josh Palmer, Elijah Moore, and Laviska Shenault Jr. have brought depth to the group, and any increase in production from these receivers could transform the Bills' offense into something truly unstoppable. Another point highlighted by analysts is the overall balance of the team. While the offense should remain explosive, the moves on defense also aim to reduce offensive pressure, keeping scores under control and offering a greater margin of safety for Allen to strategically control the game. So, even with uncertainty regarding James Cook's contract and debates about the absence of a classic WR1, the Buffalo Bills enter 2025 as one of the biggest threats to the title. The analysts' confidence is in place. The fans' expectations are only growing, and now it's up to the team to turn this projection into reality on the field. Do you think the Buffalo Bills really need to bring back Gabe Davis? Does James Cook deserve this $1 million contract now, or should he wait? And in your opinion, are we really entering 2025 as the best offense in the NFL, or is there still one last piece missing? Leave your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. But I'll come back later to update you with the latest Buffalo Bills news.